Hello and welcome to AFD TV. I'm your host, Athada Samudrala, with Dr. Sam and Nurse Amber. Oh, and Baby, here to talk to you about vaccine safety.
So there's been a lot, especially the last 5 years concerning vaccines, Dr. Sam, and just in our own clinic, so many more people signing vaccine declination forms, which in our state is a required law. There's just a lot of fallacy, and then there's a lot of truth of stuff going on. So what do you think about vaccines?
Well, that's a great question. And vaccine safety, this is Reddy. This is Lucas' uncle's son, and he's 9 months old, and then that's your son in the background.
That's right.
and the biggest challenge with vaccines is getting enough. Getting our kids vaccinated.
Absolutely.
And the good news is good news, bad news. Good news is there's more and more vaccines that's available than even when you and I were younger.
Absolutely.
But the concern is, we're having to give more and more vaccines earlier on too.
Correct.
And so, the studies have been definitive. That they have been safe as far as not worrying about. Autism. There has been no link.
Mm-hmm.
There was a flawed study that was clearly retracted.
Right.
But the biggest thing with vaccines is it's sometimes harder on the parents than the kids because the kids really don't know what's coming when they're so young. But sometimes did you pre-medicate with some Tylenol?
I do a little bit of Motrin before I take Jake. My son is 16 months old, and we're actually got a little bit behind on vaccines due to it was a birth complication, but he's getting caught up now. So when we go in, he gets about 4, 2 in each thigh.
Oh, okay.
And I'm actually allergic to vaccines, so I'm not vaccinated for much of anything anymore now. And so it's really important for me as a mother to make sure that my son is. Vaccines work through herd immunity, which is the more people that have it, the more effective it is. Basically with vaccines, the CDC is monitoring vaccines for side effects and complications every year. Anytime at America's Family Doctors that we've had any adverse reactions, which literally in the entire time I've been practicing, which has been 14 years, I've only had one, and it was a very, very mild adverse reaction for a patient, and it was actually a local site reaction to a tetanus. And we had to report to what's called the VAERS system, the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System. And basically what they do is they take a compilation of healthcare professionals' reports. They take a compilation of the pharmacies, the pharmaceuticals who take it, and they make this big report and they keep track of it. According to their website, and this is from the CDC, they get about 28,000 reports a year in comparison to the millions of vaccines that we give every single year. So if you look at that statistically, and we're not talking life or death kind of problems here at 28,000, we're talking about what we've seen at AFD, and the majority of that's been a localized reaction, fever, things like that.
Yeah, and the nice thing about vaccines is, this is the same vaccine schedule essentially for all over the world. So it's not like it's just the U.S. government. It's a lot of governments, a lot of medical researchers all over the world are studying this. It was actually interesting. It was on 60 Minutes last night, actually, talking about vaccine and vaccine safety. Although the number of vaccines have went up since we were younger, that we're immunizing our kids, which is a good thing. Mm-hmm. The actual total number of antigen count is actually lower.
Really?
So we're actually doing more with less. So
very nice.
In that respect, there should be ideally fewer side effects.
Excellent.
And smaller doses, smaller antigen count. So
the only side effects that I've ever seen with my children, specifically have just been the fever, the fatigue, and just a little bit of the crankiness for 1 to 2 days. And after that, we're pretty set.
And a lot of it is these are things we kind of take for granted a little bit, just because measles, mumps, rubella, polio, so many diseases we learn about in school, but we don't actually see in real life anymore because vaccines have been shown to be, quite effective.
Absolutely.
However, but again, the herd immunity, because as you said, some people can't get them, some people don't get them, some people wait. There was actually in Minnesota now with the Somali community, there's actually one town in Minnesota has more cases of measles than the entire United States now, just because the vaccine rate has fallen there, and it doesn't take very long.
No, it doesn't.
For measles to to, or just really any of these things that we vaccinate to affect a large number of people.
Well, and I think, as a generation, I was born in the 80s. I think that you think that, as a nurse, I've never even seen measles or mumps or rubella for that matter. But one of the things,
Go ahead.
one of the things that I do know is that people like, there's a good friend of my mom's, she's actually is deaf from the mumps. And so she had significant hearing loss. I believe she was deaf till she was 7 years old and was able to get I think it was an implant, but don't quote me on that. But a lot of those side effects are children that had polio and things like that. That's way far removed from our generation.
And people still die, even in this
do.
country, from this. Yeah, and
Absolutely.
there was a measles outbreak in Disneyland too. So
Yeah.
and that's when we do immigration physicals as well, and that's the biggest thing we do monitor for is make sure that everyone's well vaccinated.
Right. Well,
and
I
of
know-
course little babies.
Yeah. Well, and it's one of those things, one of the things that we do here, especially around flu season, is how people get really scared of Guillain-Barré. And
how do you educate on that?
right, and I think one of the things when it was the swine flu, when that came out, there was a very, very small increased chance of getting Guillain, and
But that was actually from a 1970 study,
yes,
and
correct.
so the version that we're giving is a lot different from what was
Absolutely.
in the 1970s.
But
yeah.
do you remember that being published in the medical community and how scared people were to come
Oh,
and
it
get the
did,
vaccines?
yeah,
I mean,
it
there were
did.
so many people that got the flu, and there were so many people that we knew personally that actually passed away from the flu that were in their 40s and 50s, which was, horrifically scary just because there was such bad information and publicity about this one side effect. Obviously it's extremely serious, but according to the CDC, they said it's about literally 1 in a million chance of you receiving that.
Yeah, so in that respect, it's good. And the last one is Thimerosal, which
Yes,
is
yeah. That
has
was a big
actually
one.
not been shown to cause any side effects. However, just to be on the safe side for public, we've actually made essentially all vaccines Thimerosal free, except the standard flu vaccine.
Right.
And the standard, but if you really want, there's a Thimerosal free.
Yeah, it's just a little
flu
bit
vaccine
extra.
too.
We
Yeah.
have the option to buy it at our job as well.
Yeah.
Just some statistics so it can kind of maybe hit home with you guys. Currently, worldwide, immunizations save 2 to 3 million children's lives every single year from these illnesses.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a big deal,
Absolutely.
and definitely consult your doctor with getting your children immunized. And I think he's ready. He's ready. Ready for your next immunization? Sure. Okay. Thank you for watching
AFD TV.
Bye.
See you next
time.
Yep.
AFD TV is designed to provide an educational discussion about current medical topics. For a personalized medical opinion, please consult your primary care physician or visit one of America's Family Doctors clinics today.